In this stream, I will quickly go over EAGx Nordics. I don't think I will talk about that for long, but my forecast. But let's see. And then just to update on my life and my future, because I'm doing constant development and my life is moving forward. There is need to kind of pause a little bit, look at the bigger picture, where I'm going, think about my next developments, which I will do. But let's start with the EAGx Nordics. So I don't think I need to write this down notes. It was very similar to EA Summit, Helsinki Summit 2 months ago that I attended and also talked about before or afterwards. So EAGx Nordics happened in Stockholm. It was from Friday to Sunday and hosted, or there were 4 times amount of attendees, around 400, was it 33 in total. And I went to Sweden. That was actually my first trip abroad alone. But of course, that wasn't that special. And then I stayed at a hostel. That also was my first time. I just rented a bed in a 4-person room. Didn't know the 3 others. So that was also a new experience. How this was different from Helsinki Summit was that I was a volunteer. First, I didn't get to be a volunteer, but then I was messaged also as I asked about that, and was said that all the spots were taken, that there were a lot of people wanting to be a volunteer. I said that if you still need me, I will be available. And so next day or 2 days after that, I was sent a message that yes, they will gladly take me because they need more volunteers. And in the end, 1 other would have been good, but I was taken as on a registration team, which included registration and cloakroom. And the cloakroom was I could have taken registration shifts as well, but they were all taken. So I only took and got the cloakroom shifts. It was 7 hours of shifts, but I needed to I stayed for longer, so in total it was 8 hours. And before Friday there was an hour or so orientation. So that experience was my first volunteering like this ever. That was interesting. I did not prepare well or soon. It was last Wednesday when what day is it? No, now is Wednesday. Last Wednesday, when I tried to rush to get those applications and finish my 4 application limit that I need to send, search for jobs. I did that and did not go through the attendee list. So my plan was to go through all attendees on Swapcard, which is the app that was used and is used in all effective altruism conferences and events. So I can go through the list of people attended that will attend there, see their profiles that they have written, and connect beforehand, set up one-on-ones, book one-on-ones. This time I did that for Helsinki Summit, but of course it was 4 times less the amount of people. I got like 2 or 3 one-on-ones from people reaching out to me, and then I think it was on Thursday evening I was already in Stockholm. I went through the last of the attendees, maybe 250 or 300 of them in 2 hours. I was sitting in the kind of bar or cafeteria of the generator hostel that I was in. Others were partying or just socializing, and I was going through this list on my laptop. But I was able to finish it, and then I picked people that I saw that or seemed to be interested to possibly have a collaboration or conversation later. And then I picked a few of them. So that list was, I think, around 30 or 40 people. I picked a few that I sent connection request, or maybe with some I straight away sent booking requests, so I can connect and then I can book one-on-one sessions. I can see if we have similar or same time slots that are available, that neither of us has booked to that yet. So I can suggest that time, but I don't need to connect first. I can straight away send one-on-one request. I was able to get maybe 5 or 6 before Friday. And then I had went beforehand through the event for interesting sessions like talks, workshops, and selected a few. I attended only 2 talks during the event: the starting talk on Saturday and the closing talk on Sunday. No other talks because they weren't for me. They were about AI safety, animal welfare, or something else I don't even remember. And then I attended maybe 2 or 3, I think 2 workshops, one in Friday, one in Sunday, and one speed friending event. I think that's it. So it's like 5 sessions. There were other sessions that I could have attended. One was career planning, like it was an hour and a half workshop session, where there would have been 3 people in a group, and in turn each of them would have 25 minutes to explain their like career situation and then get feedback from 2 others, suggestions that, hey, maybe you could take this path because of this. So getting advice, I would have liked to attend that maybe, but what I felt was why I didn't was that I didn't have my thoughts clear. What is my situation? And I was very certain that if I even started to talk about my goals and my skills and my ideas, that I wouldn't get good output, because that I could use to summarize the conversations I had. That it wasn't that people gave me bad advice or poor quality advice, it was I gave them bad input. That, yes, if I needed to summarize, would be like that. So that session, career planning session, I could have benefited from if I had prepared better. So what I did was I looked all the sessions, and like that speed friending I wanted to attend, there would have been another speed friending and speed network event on Friday. Those were booked, or there weren't any available spots left when I saw that. So I chose these sessions, and then I went through the shift spreadsheet and selected shifts that could take alongside these sessions, and then I started to book one-on-ones. I took another working shift after it was clear that we needed more. There were gaps. But in the end, I attended all these 5 sessions. I haven't forgotten anything, and did 8 hours of voluntary work on the cloakroom. And then I had, I think, 7 one-on-ones. Could check it out, but it's not important. And then there were breakfasts on Saturday, Sunday, lunches on Saturday, Sunday, and fika, which is Swedish break, meaning coffee and some sweets, snacks, little meal. That was on all of the days, 3 days. On Friday there was dinner that wasn't on Saturday and Sunday. The volunteering, as I said, was the first that I have ever done. Of course, I have been in position of like similar positions, but I haven't really volunteered. They have been mandatory, sort of. It was very simple. People just came to the cloakroom. They would give their jacket and or bag or both, and I would just give them ticket and then put the jacket on a hanger. Hanger? Hanger is another word. Let's see quickly. Maybe I'm just pronouncing it wrong. No, it is hanger. Hanger. Why don't I have sound?
Hanger.
Hanger. And on the hangers there were numbers. So I would give a number and put the code, the corresponding hanger were in the row. And then if there was a bag, then I would just tape another piece of the same number the back, then place it on the ground. And then people just came to get their jackets or bags or both, using the number, or they just wanted to take something out of the bag but leave it there. It was very chill. There were like 1 or 2 instances where there were multiple people, like a few people there waiting, but most of the time they just came 1 or 2 at a time. And even though it was simple, I still noticed very well that I haven't done this before. That needing to be like social, saying hi, saying goodbyes, or it wasn't of course mandatory, but it was kind of natural progression that it went there. In the beginning, I didn't know what to say, so or meaning that during those 7 for 8 hours throughout the 3 days, I became much better at communicating and kind of more relaxed. I did make a few mistakes of people asking where is the bathroom, for example, and on our room, cloakroom, there wasn't a bathroom. I didn't know where the closest one was. I only learned that on Sunday, I think. Then I was able to direct them to the right direction. Also, was there another mistake I did? Like maybe some directions. And yeah, there was the rule that because it was a big venue, there was some other event that wasn't related to our event, EAGx. There were a few people coming that weren't like our attendees. A small mistake I made was that I didn't realize right away that they should have a badge. I was kind of just waiting for them to give their jacket, and I would just give a number that I didn't realize. Hey, I should do that. I should also check that they have the badge, because it's the rule they needed to have. All of the attendees needed to have visibly wearing the badge. And then they might have said that actually they are for this other event, which I didn't know anything about. Okay. One-on-ones. They were okay. They were now trying to remember conversations I had. I could have made better notes, but I realized only on Sunday that I have bought good phone for that. I can use a pen that of course I didn't have with me in the first 2 days, that write notes quickly, because typing is not very efficient. I don't like it. So handwritten notes using my phone, that would have been better, because of course afterwards I struggled to remember the names and then remember what conversations I had with these people. In total, I maybe had 15 conversations and talked with over 20 people. I might have been less, but in general, the conversations are pretty deep level. A lot of new information. They might say something that I just wasn't aware of. They use terms that I don't know. So 20% context might be lost. And then joining these sessions, getting information. It wasn't very intense, but still, of course, I'm not used to this. What was I there to gain from? I'm trying to remember, how did I plan for that event in general? I wanted to find collaborators. I think that was it. I wanted to talk about my ideas and then hear what they had to say. And a few people I met who were very interested and were interesting, that I want to continue collaborating with. Maybe not in the same project, but they are very important to my goal related to democracy. And then a lot of conversations where I would say 70% I was more interested to show my ideas. And I felt that that's what I remember from the sessions or conversations, that I was talking about or trying to explain my ideas, who I am, what I wanted to do, and then just getting feedback on those. And I was less listening because, well, everyone has their own goals, and because I don't have experience, I can't really give my good advices, especially because I don't understand their fields, their areas of focus or interest. So it was a bit one-sided. In general, when I mentioned my interest towards building better digital communication platforms, there were some eyebrows lifted. People kind of questioned my idea, and especially because it was very clear I didn't know, and I said it to all of them probably, that I haven't researched. So I want to change communication, I want to help develop democracy, but I don't know much about democracy. I don't know much about politics. I don't know anything. I don't know philosophy. I don't know psychology. And the advice I got, was it from 3 people, was that I should read more. I should do more research before I start to develop something. And my response to all of them was no, that I don't need to do that. That I already, even though I don't know exactly how things are, I don't need that information. I can just observe, and I have my whole life, and I can test things like communication platforms and create ideas how this could be done differently. That it would be a trap, especially for me, to start doing research first. I need to get that touch, I need to get that focus, that what am I researching for? Because generally that's what people do, which is easy. They just expand their knowledge. And to generalize, people that I had conversations with, maybe in general the attendees, many of them, they didn't, it feels like they don't have the level of contact to real world situations high enough that I would like to see. That they are trying to build up from their theories, from their knowledge, but they are not trying to bridge the gap from the other side, which is reality. I might be wrong, so it's very possible that I just, because the one-on-one sessions by default were 25 minutes, and if I use 70% of the time to explain my things, that project idea, and then I think gamifying politics I showed and explained quickly to someone, and then I talked about my technique to change myself, so self-development technique. Three of the things, they took a lot of time, and of course people were already doing, but I think the overall sense was you are talking too much about theory. They don't understand human brain. They don't understand normal people. But they are in the bubble and they don't know it because maybe they started too young to get the information. Like I talked about education being important, that these social applications, social platforms or news sites, they don't provide enough education, and I got some response, kind of questions that questioned that what, but isn't this taught in schools? And I was like, I don't remember anything from school, like this societal structure in Finland. I don't remember it. And what does it matter if I remember? I know there are many people who don't understand. And even if someone went to school, like some older person, like 40 years ago, why would they understand? Why is it important that they would educate themselves once and then, yeah. But that was just a small example, and of course I might have misread him, what he was going to say, or maybe he didn't mean that, maybe he didn't understand what I was saying. So miscommunication is probably happened a lot, especially with me, because I wasn't clear with my words, with my meaning. I think for many, the way I explained that I don't know anything, they actually took it directly, that they thought, okay, you really don't know anything. That I think they they might have seen me more stupid that I am, and less capable. But yeah, so being a little unprepared, but also I think I got some validation for my projects, and I got new contacts. This was very good experience as a whole, going there. I will remember that. Do you have anything else to say? I'm not going to go details into the conversations. I think mostly it doesn't matter. They were nice. After parties or after events, they were nice. More conversations happened on those. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. I probably missed some detail from this event. Let's update that later. Update on life and my future. Life management. Now, the big event I had been waiting for is over. Next month, I could go to London, the EAG, but I'm not going to even try to apply. I think I could get in. Not everyone gets to go there, but I think I have good enough reason and can showcase my unique ideas. But I don't see point, because the next step clearly is to start defining my goal, my projects, start to initialize them, share them. Like now I have even more people that I can send these ideas, get feedback for. But now it's over. So what is the next thing happening? Next few days I have social events, gatherings. After that, nothing. Going to Sweden kind of opened my eyes and mind to the possibility of so going to Sweden, and then there's going to be ESPA concert. So now talking about K-pop quickly. ESPA concert is announced to be in Sweden next January. And then I saw an announcement said that Le Seraphim, another K-pop group that I have listened more than ESPA, is going to Copenhagen on October, so sooner than ESPA. Now I started to think that okay, actually I want to go there. To go to Sweden, I could go with the ferry. The cheapest one costs more time than flying, but still, like, I just went there. But then I thought, okay, I could fly to Copenhagen for this K-pop concert. How important is that? Like, not very important. It would cost a few €100. But then I started to think, okay, if I'm ready to go to Copenhagen, fly there for a K-pop concert, there's a Twice Europe tour happening in a week and a half. I have 4% battery on my OnePlus 2 that I'm using as my microphone. I hope it lasts. It's permanently plugged in. Okay. But yes, Twice concert is happening. It's not the closest one is Berlin, but Twice is Twice. If I think by rank or my priority, what would it be for K-pop concerts? By far, I'm most interested in Dreamcatcher. That might never happen again, very probably because many of the members left the company. They will probably do, I believe they will do comeback at some point, but not a world tour. Of course, I want to be wrong in this matter, but still, by far that's the highest priority. I would love to attend that again. Best music, yeah, best group by far. The second one would probably be IVE, just because of my ultimate bias there. IVE concert, Gaul, and I like almost all of their music. Yeah, 90% at least. Maybe some title songs are not that great, but I can learn to love them if I wanted. And like the songs are probably way better during concert or as a concert. That's my second. Third one, I think third one and fourth one could be tied between G-Idol, and it's actually Idol nowadays, and Twice. Blackpink, I started with Blackpink almost 4 years ago, but very quickly, or 3 years ago, I had already forgotten and I haven't followed their comebacks. Their image for me just became uninteresting. But yes, so Idol and Twice. Idol is the funniest group, very powerful songs. Like it's not that their songs are not that consistent. I feel that, but so meaning they're a bit random. IVE and Dreamcatcher has more consistent songs. I do believe Idol, they have some misses, like Klaxon I did not get much out of, but as a group it's just perfect. And Twice, their songs are just so consistently good that it's crazy. I think IVE does have a bit higher level songs, a few of them, than any of Twice's songs, but Twice has they have been active almost 11 years, so they have a lot of songs, and it's almost impossible to find bad ones from their catalog. and 9 members, like great members. I never learned much or many of them, or no, I never learned to know all of them. And then on 5th place, I think EAGx. They have also very good songs, but a bit weaker than Twice, and weaker group. Weaker group than Idol, but yeah. So Twice, even though it's on the 3rd on the list. Yeah, no, Le Seraphim. Actually, I take that back. Twice is 3rd. Idol and Le Seraphim are 4th and 5th, maybe. Anyways, what Twice has that IVE doesn't have is the experience and yes, that catalog. They are same age, kind of like Dreamcatcher's previous group, Minx, 5 members only, debuted on 2014. Twice debuted on 2015, and Blackpink 2016. But they are the same generation, and I do believe that this might be one of their last tours, possibly last in Europe. Would feel kind of, or yes, so 9 members. It's incredible that they have consistently just worked during all these years and done all these world tours. Now if I have a chance to see them, hear them, that's what I thought about yesterday. Should I spend like 400 euros, 400 to 450 or 500 euros to go and see them? It doesn't help humanity. It costs money. But when thinking about what's in the horizon, like that could be one. Although now I'm kind of doubting if I let myself do that, because as I said, there isn't really good argument for it. Just that I want to experience that. Let's move on to the next phase. I have already forgotten EAGx Nordics, meaning it's not on my mind. I'm currently feeling, maybe it's because, well, the conference, that I'm back home, but it feels odd. It doesn't feel like home. When I was in Sweden, I got used to it like immediately. It was normal, like there's nothing there. Or now this will be my second night here feels weird. And what I'm trying to say here is that I am, maybe I would say, speed running experiences in life, and I don't think it will ever stop. Is it bad thing? No, shouldn't be. I haven't really thought about it, and that's what I'm going to do now. Previously, I kind of thought that I could find some role balance in my life where I could relax. Now I'm not even certain if I have thought about it that way. I think yes, that I was kind of aiming for this vision where my life would stabilize. Is it happening? Like almost anything I experience, I just move on immediately. Friendships, I'm actively, kind of automatically, just keeping people at bay. So, or I'm sensing greater transition from old habits, relationships, entertainment towards something else. I don't feel depressed. That's good. Doesn't feel bad. Just that my mind has woken a little bit, or quite a lot, towards the global level. Earlier today I had that pre-interview. Went okay, maybe. I did not speak fluently. I don't know what he thought about that. Sent me an email. Yes, one of them. It was a summary of what we went through. But this Philippines job opportunity now is a gateway to this world of international work and moving abroad. Like earlier today, I was with my friends at a cafe, and one of them leaves for Germany in 2 days, I think. And I also mentioned that yes, I could go to the Philippines, and then one of them asked, okay, when you come back, or then we can do this together. And I said, if I leave, I won't come back. That's kind of true. if I left the Philippines, why would I come back? If I continued working, I think I would just stay there or try to find another opportunity if for some reason they didn't want to keep me, or we would just settle down. It's not in either of our best interests, but try to find work outside of Finland. And even if I came back, if I came here for a vacation, would I hang out with my friends? How much? I have, of course, my family members. A lot of them, I prioritize them, like seeing them once a year or once in a few years. Yeah, it's not a small thing to do, to just leave everyone here, go to the other side of the world. Of course, yeah, social media messaging, but it will fade eventually, and to some degree at least. What is my vision? So I can't attend the Twice concert because it just doesn't make sense. What makes sense? Trying to think of my vision again. So world peace, democracy, communication platforms. And I thought about AI startup or just startups. During the conference and afterwards, I feel somewhat that I'm kind of rethinking my future, or I have transitioned a little bit towards this more passive role or slower progression with my projects. Like maybe I do need to research more, maybe this will take longer, so I'm some way preparing for this taking a long time. And that's one reason why I am considering this job opportunity at Philippines. That even if I worked a year doing this, that it could still be good. Is it true? If I was able to be productive at home, I wouldn't need that. that what assessment I did before the meeting, I realized I was in this passive mindset. And the opportunity seemed better than it should be. World peace. How much does it make sense to move there? The problem is that all of these I find exciting. To move there, to start this job or do this job, or then move to Helsinki and or stay here even, get involved with startup scenery, doing my projects. Like, why do I need to go to another country? That the benefits people get from it, you go away from your friends or family and you can focus on yourself. I don't need to focus on myself anymore. My reality is quite annoying to myself. That it does take a lot of thinking, consciousness, come up with the right thing to do. That if I just went with my gut feelings and kind of natural feelings, then I could choose any of these paths that I laid upon me. But with the development, I can change myself to want something that I wouldn't naturally take, some path. So that makes it difficult. That initially, by default, if I had like 5 different options, one of them would seem the most exciting naturally. But if I'm conscious, and of course I do remember, I have a sense of what I can do, I can develop each of these 5 to be the best one. And use logic, use reason. What's annoying, what's frustrates me or gives me that feeling is that I can't just use this natural way of selecting. If I chose, I would go to this Twice concert. I would happily move to Philippines. But then oh, there are the limitations. I think I haven't thought about the limitations of how much I can develop myself. That because there are limitations, moving to Philippines and starting on this role might still give some benefits that I normally wouldn't or couldn't develop myself quick enough that it would make sense more. That even so, my idea is if I wanted to learn about the culture, what if I just watched 100 hours worth of documentaries, videos explaining, and read some books? I'm someone who understands all people. I can understand all people because the way I see them, I think about them is like autonomous beings. I'm also one. No one has free will. It's just a set of connections in the brain. That's the easiest way of seeing things, and everything makes sense. I don't need to be there, I feel, to get very good understanding of the people. And the thing about this world that we are living in 2026, I can, if I wanted to hear what's happening in Philippines from a Filipino person, just do that in Tampere. I don't need to leave anywhere. So that's also annoying, that I would like to move to someplace, but does it actually make sense? Just to get that experience, I can learn Chinese here. And just want to point out that I'm not really frustrated. I'm not really, or okay, I am, but I want to be frustrated. My life is too easy. I like to be angry. I like to be frustrated, but it's not true. I know it, like, subconsciously or on that level as well, that it's just an act, because I can change my feelings so easily. So no, I do this just for pleasure. I haven't developed it out yet. Am I done being frustrated? It's so fun. And the biggest reason why is because if I'm frustrated, I'm avoiding thinking about the real thing. Of course, it doesn't have any real fun elements to it, just avoidance. That's why people are angry. They don't want to face the problem. My water is out. Am I done? Expressing feelings Well, it's a fun thing to do, lower conscious level, and especially now that when I raise my consciousness, when I think about bigger things in my life, the first thing I face is uncertainty. Of course, my brain wants to avoid that. And that is a feeling, negative feeling. What I said earlier about me not being able to experience life in a certain way that I'm used to. What is my future looking like? And I experienced this in the conference, that they are more normal people than me. Did I hope to find someone like me? Not really. I didn't think about it, but just afterwards, realizing it very well. Being alone, leaving friends, family, relationship, finding a partner. I have started to have thoughts about that I could, it's possible I will start to make developments at some point, trying to lose interest in even getting a partner. Right now, I'm very much open to it. I want that. But I might try to lose interest just because it would help a bigger vision, or to stay single. Because in the end, that's also entertainment. Being able to build my life, build myself, reprogram myself. It has its perks, but definitely negatives as well. Too much freedom. I've forgotten something. some development or plan. Too lazy to go to check it out. My notes. I don't think so. I think I have just been preparing for this event. Yeah. Politics is becoming more ordinary than what it was before. Just changing more and more. Some way I'm moving away from people, friends, family, also entertainment. World is becoming smaller. I don't always need to level up. Why can't I see the limits? And many things I'm now saying I can develop away, but they would just take time. I'm trying to get a bigger picture first, trying to understand pieces before I would choose development. I think the main or very important thing here is I'm very much relaxed. I don't feel depressed. I would do more developments, get rid of dreams. And even thinking about my future being empty doesn't feel much of anything. Of course, at this time right now, I don't feel many needs to socialize, to watch porn, consume entertainment, because I'm kind of full of all that. So making decisions with this mind is not gonna be realistic. It doesn't matter. So annoying. I can't avoid thinking about this. I'm not even tired enough. use that as an excuse. Damn it. So future without any pleasure. I'm still afraid of going too deeply into my values, into my goal, or, well, yes, goals, meaning of for my life. If I think about that world peace, I think lately I have been thinking, or I have had these thoughts that it's possible I could change that. But I don't want to change it because it would possibly create too much uncertainty. It's too deep. Although would it matter? Okay. I shouldn't be afraid. Because my life is at the end, of course, subjective. Helper of humanity. What fun is there? World peace. Dreaming about that is awesome. Like I might forget why am I even doing this for, but yeah, why am I doing this? Then quickly envisioning world peace, then going back to this moment, like watching news about all these wars, aggressions. They're so boring. There's nothing interesting in modern world warfare. I'm sure there are many people who disagree. They find automatic machinery devices interesting, but I think they're quite boring. Can I fit? Oh. Remembering that it's not really a choice. I don't have a choice in this. I didn't want anything else that I discovered on January. In January, I hanged out. I chilled around the zero state, there being no meaning. I tried to process it, think about it. Then I figured out, okay, there's nothing else to do than just create meaning. And nothing popped up, like strongly at least. But how I was able to go forward was just eliminating everything else than world peace. And that's it. It's one method to discover what I want to do. It's still holds, like it hasn't gone anywhere. What else would I do with my time? Hang out with my friends. The thing is, I'm not doing that regularly. That's why it's fun. It's fun to hear what's been going on with others' lives, but very quickly, if I met them more frequently, I know where my mind would go. Like it would just be bored of all this conversation, no, nothing happening. We are talking about some geopolitics, but nothing is happening. Like all of this makes sense. That I don't want to just chat about this. I've done that already. So getting that motivation, meaning from ground up. How am I even in this place that I'm again questioning my vision? Of course, it makes perfect sense when I start to think about it. Just I haven't been here before. What I mentioned before, that right now I don't have this natural feeling that I even want to socialize. Maybe I do want to socialize a little bit, but meaning I feel that I have my needs fulfilled. That's not reality. They will come back, and I know it, and that also is quite annoying. That I know I can change the way I think of this. Am I learning anything here? Because of my goal, that is not natural. Every problem I face, it's just an avoidance. There's nothing more. My brain tries to avoid every development and this whole vision every way it can. Tries to create boundaries that it doesn't want me to cross. That's it. Please. I'm changing my mind on this and everything. If I wanted to reach world peace, just finding my own startup, starting my own project, getting funding, being very active, that would be the fastest way. Do I have motivation for that? Maybe not. Being realistic, maybe I wouldn't have. Finding accountability body was on my mind during the conference, but I made a decision not to try to find it there because the conversations, they were more interesting. And on my way back, I thought about that being the next thing. I would focus on finding an accountability body from some forum, from some group, EA. So that could be a way to increase my productivity. How I'm thinking about this, being a bit tired, that has its effects, but how I'm thinking about this is wrong, and now especially I know it. I'm not thinking through world peace, but from my current position and then seeing these options, what feels right. This whole thing process is pointless, because the only way I can make my decisions that are based on my philosophy, that I can trust, are from world peace. So, okay, my mind is just fighting against thinking about this. So, world peace, do I want that? Because if the answer is no, then any of these, or they would make sense. Like right now, I have developed myself to a point where I would leave to Philippines. It's not anymore about the world peace. That doesn't hold decisions. Myself, that I have become a helper of humanity, that doesn't go away. I'm not going to change it back to something else. But yes, so world peace, do I want to reach that? What is the quickest way? I was focused on finding a job because I needed to do that last week. Then there was the volunteering, then there was the overall preparation for the event. Of course, that took time, and earlier, like 2 weeks earlier, I just gooned and it was unproductive. Right now, I can hopefully see see more clearly. Reversing my decision or want to go to Philippines feels bad because of course, if I even got selected, that I doubt, but feels bad. But this wouldn't be the first decision or change that I make. Feels bad. All of them feel bad. The fastest way. I'm not going to Twice's concert. No, it's fine. Just felt a pang of depression thinking about trying to get rid of watching K-pop music videos again. I have used to stimulate my brain to think or keep thinking. What entertainment would I don't need entertainment. Okay. World peace. What kind of person would I need to become to lead an optimal route towards world peace? My brain is not liking this because it would hold a lot of developments, but what I'm seeing is very socially active, like an influencer level marketing presence on social platforms, posting on LinkedIn, being very excited all the time, focusing on work only. Creating this pressure from others who are interested in my projects, involved trying to use or like asking a lot of questions and trying to get everyone involved or as much as I can handle the communication. Learning a lot, developing myself. I would need to work on my embarrassment. I haven't never posted anything on LinkedIn before, and not many things, or haven't posted about haven't posted anything about this life's work, world peace. These streams are the only one. And sort of I have envisioned this before. Maybe I was too afraid. My brain was able to avoid it, think about it, that is actually where I'm heading towards. It's not just living under a rock making some solution, because that's easy. That is easy. That's why so many people focus on that. Being alone like nerds, they don't have the social skills. And those people who have social skills, they don't have the technical skills to implement the product. So I'm not seeing many people who do the product themselves, who are very good at marketing. It's often that people who do things are good at marketing, they aim for money because human corruption. I don't know. In that vision, I can see many areas that I need to be developed, but in that vision, what is fun? I think it is necessary to have something fun there. And this is the interesting part, that it doesn't have to be fun now. I can make it fun. That's how the brain operates. It's so easy to, like, okay, I don't know if I have made similar change, but the brain is just connections. Like, I can gaslight myself to feel that something is fun, even though it's not yet. Like, social situations are fun that I couldn't have thought a few years ago. I would leave up here or end up here. What would be the most awkward? I can't even think of many hard things in life. What even is there? Like, I think mostly what I often think is just my brain capability to think, to have fluent conversation, monologue, and not pause, keep my brain thinking. But even that, I feel, is constantly improving. Is it possible? So if I make, what part of this vision would I make fun? What if I make everything fun? Just start from somewhere and then increase that. Is it scalable? Or is it sustainable? And that role, that lifestyle, that's the structure of that vision is perfect. I wouldn't need to change that structure anymore, but just scale, go deeper into some area like storytelling, become better and better and better. Am I turning myself into a politician here? Okay, not really. I don't like the way politicians avoid answering things, so I will be quite frank. This plan and with this persona envisioning and my target, democracy, world peace, just have any enemies? Definitely yes. Would I die? The thing is, I can think about this, but because death is not a problem, I don't know if I need to think about it then. It's not my problem. Just I thought about what if I should start this immediately, start posting my first, start posting immediately. Why not? My brain didn't like that idea at all, because I haven't done the development yet. First, I would of course make it easy. This vision is not anything new. I think maybe before I thought that I wouldn't have to take such a big role, but realizing what kind of people there are, and as I was in the event, I also mentioned this to someone there, that I don't see much or many people breaking the norms, going beyond, like being very excited, being able to develop humanity or the community, the experience, really elevate that. I didn't see that people are too much they're settling to that group mentality and social role, social pressure. This vision that I have of the perfect person I can think of becoming, that person would break the rules break the social norms all the time, constantly. Thinking about actually doing or living like this without making the changes first. Oof. I'm not liking it. And now thinking about this Philippines plan, I almost, or I feel that I want to move forward with that and then take that opportunity, even if it wasn't optimal, just because I have already committed to it some level. I have talked about it to some people, but now I can't move away from it, but of course I can. But that also creates negative feeling. So now I'm kind of coming back, staying here in Finland. The startups. Like if I was very active, that in the next week I would have hundreds of conversations with people. I would do a lot of research. I would do a lot. Could I get a job? Could I get involved with startups? I would contact like 100 different startup hubs and possibly find someone to work with. Just with my enthusiasm. It is very unique, or it can be very unique. That's the thing about breaking norms, that I see people doing that. And they're trying to, or I see people acting more social, acting more enthusiastic, because that's the way they grow themselves. They push themselves forward, doing uncomfortable things. But what I can see is it's not very efficient. That they're trying to they're doing bold moves, but kind of checking around if and trying to get validation. Is this okay? Is this okay? So they're not sure about themselves. What I can offer is very, or this is my vision, that very strong very strong commitment towards action and being a certain persona, and I can back it up from my philosophy, which is unbreakable. I can draw energy. I can change myself to enjoy the new state very quickly. Of course, this is just my feeling. That people, yes, they're breaking the norms, but they don't handle it. They don't understand what they're doing. They can't go very far. They are doing little baby steps, whereas I could possibly do long strides and just keep on pushing. All sorts of emotions in my brain. But okay, so the Philippines plan is not scrapped yet. I still feel that it could be a very good opportunity. So it has its sides, it has its potential. Even if I worked for them like a year or 2, 3, it's very much possible that I could grow in that role. I could perfect it, become so good at communicating with everyone. I could kind of grow myself, develop myself on that role. If I started a startup, if I joined a startup, I could very well, is that possible that I would get a point where I would struggle to develop myself further, especially my engine, my brain. I would have too much to do all the time. That this service desk job would, of course, in the beginning, I would need to just keep on, survive, but then when it would kind of settle a little bit, I would have this quite casual role where I can start developing myself on repetitive tasks, because that's what's needed for development. Similar environment repeating. If I did startup, was involved with startups, I would learn about tech, I would learn about doing presentations, telling stories, pitching ideas, asking questions. But how much is there repetition? Maybe not a lot. My free time. I now realize this. I want to develop it there. My idea is it possible that I would get stuck having too strong social pressure to not develop further? Of course, in time, I would make found startup field feel very easy, like the easiest thing ever. So maybe that would mean developing myself while being part of it would continue. Because I will make everything I do easy. Hmm. Hmm. So is it possible I would start this too soon? So integrating development to my days. Might need to meditate on this. And again, already just talking about this, going through this, it's given me new ideas, new feelings. So I have enough pieces to try to figure out how to put together, to prioritize. Completely different paths, both having their sides. To evaluate them. So moving to Philippines, I don't need to develop anything. Like I'm already ready to do that. Of course, like little things, it would still be a new thing or new experience, but like that job wouldn't require any meaningful developments, subconscious level. But the other vision would require that. Although, okay, I'm thinking about the Philippines plan wrong. Of course, that would include all the developments. So it wouldn't matter which one I chose. If I chose to stay here in Europe and mainly focus on joining some organization that does good or startup where I can be more free, I can have more meaningful work and maybe get technical skills. In both scenarios, I could I would develop myself a lot. Only one of them to create sort of deadlock, if I can use that, meaning I would need to stay there. World peace. It's very much possible that in Philippines I would find like the best people to work with, collaborate, so that could lead faster towards world peace. The more I did on my free time, the less matters where I am or what path I choose. Hmm. Are there any other choices? That Philippines represents pretty much the normal job. So I don't need to think about getting an IT desk job here in Finland, in Helsinki, or any like AI software developer even, I think goes to the same category. It would give me more technical skills how to create products, but actually now thinking about it, it's not even important. That important. Yeah. If I was very active with the startup thing, it's possible I could move to abroad. Anyways, I could maybe move to Taiwan. This position is only in Philippines. Mm, getting a little tired. 1 a.m. I mean, back and forth. Thinking about the startup, like, would I need to develop my brain? And then thinking about the multilingual service desk partner, would it have enough room to scale to actually grow? Because if it has that, then it could be possible to kind of grow very quickly from my initial position there in the company to something else. What if I created these good plans to how to develop the whole system or the AI tools? Suddenly I was offered another position. Like if I think about staying there for a year at least, doing the same thing, maybe or probably it's not the most productive, or yeah, it doesn't seem like very productive thing to do. But if I am able to develop myself, my communication skills, then it might then it wouldn't be about it wouldn't be a year about in that same role. What if I could show my skills and and of course if I don't have any skills, if I don't have that potential, then I would use that time to develop myself, which I couldn't do in my startup role. It's an interesting thing. The possibilities are not the usual ones. And the timeline, that's not easy. Like, it's not clear that I should focus on certain projects right now. Like gamifying politics, should I even try to do that right now? Or finish it? I feel a bit bad because I have said to many people that I will do this, I will do this. But nothing so far. The last 2 months or 3 months. Bum, 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 bum. And if I did a normal job, maybe I can do research during that time, take the advice. I need to learn more about the world before I would start some projects. I would choose my path. And use the time to develop myself. And then if I'm able to develop myself during the work, become more or better at communicating, better at thinking, maybe using IRAC, then it wouldn't matter if the company itself couldn't give me new positions, new roles, new opportunities, because I would have all it takes to flourish in some other company. Of course, I would have to pay for breaking the contract too soon, but that wouldn't be a problem. Like, and I don't think, well, it shouldn't be a problem to CGI either. They would get compensated, at least somewhat. And I'm someone who can talk about this, who can compromise, decide together what is the best course of action. Like, I don't want to leave any party unsatisfied, that I would just use the company for my own benefit. No, like, let me help you. Let me help you hire, get a new hire, and make the system better. That in the end, I wouldn't be a burden to them. Also, what I said in the interview is, trying to say it, I probably mumbled too much, that I'm not interested to get like the optimal pay that I could possibly have. I'm okay having a bit less, but of course, reason in reasonable amount. Like, I don't need to feel stressed that I need to keep at certain level. Like, pay me, or what is the largest amount you could pay me, potentially a little less. That's fine. I do charity. I like to do charity, and that applies there as well. Even if it's company, like, I don't care. Everyone is happy. I can settle. The accountability body. So the more I'm thinking about all of this, the less it actually matters which path I choose. But even if I moved to Philippines, even if I worked 40 hours per week, I still would have free time. I can develop myself during the work. So it wouldn't be all or nothing. Like 60% free time, 100 or let's say 80%. Because even if I work for my own project, although the outcome is 100% to 60%, although that 40%, let's say I use that productively or half of it, then it's 80% to 100%, and getting some benefits from living somewhere else. These notifications I'm getting. Old ones. I own takes less energy. So it wouldn't matter. This vision becoming social. Developing myself in a controlled environment. Mhm. Think. But I was able to come up with new ideas, get this forward at least. Very happy. After this, I will maybe watch some K-pop videos and then try to think further. Yeah. 2 hours. Too bad. Too bad. This is 84. Nice.